Hey, it's Richie and Wes.
He's Richie.
And he's Wes.
And this is our show. Well, you know what they say, dark times call for dark humor.
Yes.
So let's get shady. Wow, we have a world of shade on this week's episode. And apparently the world shading us. So let's get into it. I feel like the biggest social media whiplash event that everyone is still talking about. More than other things, by the way.
Yeah.
More than things that are like...
That I've called that out.
Way more important.
A bunch of times.
Like things that are actually happening today on MLK Day that are way more important than whether or not TikTok is running. But this is what everyone is talking about. But it's also hilarious.
Oh, yes. It's great.
The TikTok ban that lasted for less than 24 hours.
14 hours to be exact.
Because our government and all of their wisdom, with all of the multitude of problems that Americans are facing, decided to band together, join hands to dismantle a social media app that, interestingly, has been taking the market share from the social media apps they have invested in personally.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. All about money.
So much has been said about this, I don't feel like there's a lot more to add, except the two funniest fucking things in my mind are the influencers who thought that since TikTok was over...
Oh, I know where this is going, and I'm right on board.
That it was the end of the world.
Uh-huh.
They would be disconnected from the internet forever, and they could reveal their deepest, darkest secrets.
Oh, yes.
Including the fact that they were fucking lying liars and never used the products that they sold.
Exactly.
Didn't do the workouts they created. Didn't eat the food that they posted, made, purchased. Can you imagine purchasing a room full of fucking food just to fake tell people you ate it?
That is the craziest shit ever. And this is how it's such brain rot. And I'm good for turning off the brain for a hot minute. Don't get me wrong. We all love fluff TV and fluff songs and everything, but this is a whole level of just degenerates. I can't.
What goes through your brain? First of all, to just be a total fucking fraud. I mean, look, we know. Okay, we know. This is why I don't take advice from people on social media. Ooh, no. Rub a banana peel on your face? Shut the fuck up.
This is why I love the accounts that actually on social media that call those people out.
Yeah.
And I love when someone is like, you know, if I don't like something, I'm not going to say, and they have reviews. I'm like, you know what? I'm not feeling this. If you, it might, and they'll say, you know, it might be for you. It's not for me. But this is what I'm promoting, and yada yada yada. That is respectable because everything's not for everyone.
No, and the wide-eyed, oh my gosh, you guys.
Oh, I don't
over-exaggerated.
Oh, honey, like, don't get me started. I don't even follow YouTubers that are infomercial. Host level of excitement.
No one is that excited about cereal.
No,
bitch.
I like people who are just like, yeah, so like I watched this movie today and blah 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 blah, and this is what was good about it, and this was bad. And like that's if I feel like I'm having a conversation with you,
right? Then
I'm going to subscribe to you. I'm going to follow your shit. If it's like, oh, a bunch of like 80,000 fucking cuts in a minute,
you're never gonna believe
it's
this.
Like, oh my god, this is crazy. Like all these reaction shots.
You're never gonna believe. You're never gonna.
I'm like, oh my god, no. I'm like, even down to a song review. The second someone comes in like fucking that Bernie Mays guy from fucking back in the day, and it's just like, I'm like, and I'm backing out of this video and I'm blocking you because I don't want it on my timeline. I don't have, if I wanted that, I would watch a ShamWow commercial. I don't want to see someone reviewing a product or reviewing a movie or a song or anything when you're that animated because no one acts like that in real life.
Or the yelling.
Yes.
Just the constant state of yelling.
Mind you, I fall asleep listening to YouTube, so if it's and this is not to be misogynistic at all, but I don't follow a lot of women creators because their voices are already higher as it is. It's not pleasant, to sleep to, but they're also overly animated, and it's just like this is like nails on a chalkboard to me. I can't. It's like sorority girls in a gay bar.
Yeah, I don't need
for 40 minutes.
You're not falling asleep to woo girls, so
this is why I love Jamie French. Shout out to her because she just has a very calm, somber voice, and she's hilarious. And she will do her reviews on different things, and if she laughs, it's not like a loud cackle. And this is from someone that cackles loud.
It's not forced. It's just like it's not over the top.
Yeah, she's just like watching and reacting to something, and I think it's beautiful. Because she's actually entertaining and funny.
How many eardrums have they blown out?
Seriously.
During their influencer career. That's
what I want. If you have to do all that, you're not that funny or entertaining. You're overly compensating for the lack of actual content and material that you're trying to put out.
It's very clearly performative.
Yes, extremely.
There are some accounts that call out those two. Like, I kind of love there's not a lot of the anti-wellness accounts because the wellness people go fucking batshit whenever you're like, no, don't rub a fucking banana peel on your face, which is a thing, by the way.
Yes.
Also, don't do that. You're going to rub pesticides all over your face. And yes, organic produce uses pesticides, and guess what they use? Seed oil.
Yes.
So, now people are rubbing beef tallow on their face, which is just beef fat. So, but the ones that I love the best that have really gotten some traction over on Instagram are the ones that call out the fitness influencers who are clearly using photo edits to make their waist look smaller or their biceps look bigger. That shit is funny. They've shut down accounts.
Good.
They have people have gone as private.
They fucking should.
People have shut down their fucking account.
I love when that happens.
You run a whole account on building up your booty, and every photo you are using an editor to make your ass look bigger.
There was this one guy that had fucking booty pads, and people kept calling him out until he shut down his account.
As it should be.
Yep. It's not that difficult just to, be a genuine person.
Right, like the same thing for the food accounts. Like,
yes,
if you enjoy food, you enjoy food. That's fine. You can enjoy food, but you don't have to act like you're binging on a table full.
That's why I like
food.
Keith Lee. And that's why he's blown up because he's genuine, and he'll say, much to the dismay of some people who are watching and who have pride in their city and whatnot. He'll be like, yeah, this wasn't that great. Yeah, this is trash. He always sends in someone to order food to go so he can eat in his car, which I don't like people eating. I eat in my car, whatever. But I have nothing against that, but I hate now it's like people have fucking crock pots and shit in their car.
Oh, that is insane.
That's insane. Oh, God, it's fucking so obnoxious. But he will send family members to go in. He will never drop his name because now he's so big that people will literally clear out a table. Mm-hmm. That's what started happening. It's like, oh, Keith Lee's here. Like, let's get him a table real quick and, yada, yada, yada. So he's in his car now. And he'll do honest food reviews. And he'll say, yeah, this wasn't that great. Maybe this dish was great. Maybe this wasn't that great. Whatever. Okay, that's how everyone should be. It should be an honest review about something.
Right. Just tell us how you feel. And if you have a good personality and if you're interesting, then that'll all come through and people will enjoy your content. There's actually a male model that I follow called Callum Harper, who is a very striking ginger. I'll show you a picture now.
I love a ginger. Yes. Oh, yeah, the cheekbones are great.
Cheekbones for days. And he's really unfucking hinged. He is so hilarious. Okay. A lot of his videos are him, like, running to modeling calls because he's late, or like just all of his videos are him being totally chaotic.
Yes,
but he also loves like snacks and food. So he is not even necessary. Like he'll go to when he was in Japan, like he was just going to like Japan, the Japanese version of 7-Eleven or whatever. Like he's not trying to promote a certain place. He's just trying snacks.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, I want to stop here and I want to try something.
And if he likes something, he likes it. And then, as what happened in Japan, he often thought it was going to be red velvet, and it was actually the red bean. Which apparently they love in Japan.
Okay.
And every time the look of disappointment and disgust
was
so real.
Yep.
You think you're getting red velvet Kit Kat? No, it's a red mung bean.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I love that. I that's as funny to me as anything else. Is a genuine reaction where like you just have to spit it out in your napkin.
Yep, and it's like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but this just isn't my situation.
And it's his taste buds, and that's what it is. But that's what's genuine, and that's why people gravitate to those sort of individuals. So yeah, the over-the-top influencers, but so many of them outed themselves. And while that was happening, and then TikTok went dark, between them getting fucking busted and then tried to act like it was all a joke.
Oh, yeah.
Between those times, for the 14 hours, the rest of the world said, now that the Americans have left,
literally, yes,
we're so fucking happy we can stop explaining geography and world politics to them.
It was like you left the room to use the restroom and everyone's at the dinner table talking about you. And so many Americans were so pissed off, but I loved it because we're fucking ridiculous. Sorry, it's the fucking truth.
We are not generally well liked.
No. And for areas. Good goddamn reasons sometimes. Like, ugh.
The what I mean by that is
I don't like a lot of us.
No.
And I'm American.
Thank you. And what I mean by that too is just the discourse. The people who think that like many Americans think there are only 3 time zones. That's just one example.
Yep.
Right. And then if you live on the other side of the world, you're like, how fucking stupid are you?
Yes. I call people idiots all the fucking time online.
Because they are.
And get banned sometimes for it, but whatever. I said what I said. I don't take anything back, so it is what it is.
So the rest of the world was celebrating the fact that Americans and American content was no longer showing up on the app.
Yep.
So they could actually get online and see creators from their own region.
Yes.
And they were living for those 14 hours. And the funniest part of all of this is our supposed best friend to the north, Canada.
Oh, yeah, they were the worst ones.
Yes! They were like, finally, it's our time for the spotlight.
Right. For 14 hours.
Girl.
I mean, they got their own fish to fry, but
that's true. They got a lot going on.
Yes, but I also don't disagree.
Well,
a lot of Americans, not all of us, are far too prideful, not only in our country, but just in ourselves. Without even, I mean, the fact that a lot of Americans, not me, will chastise someone for speaking broken English while only knowing one language yourself is crazy.
Thank you. Yeah.
Like, that has never resonated with me whatsoever, ever. Because you speak one language.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you chastising someone that speaks multiple languages most times for having broken English?
And yet they're...
And then you travel sometimes. Those people actually do travel.
Mm-hmm.
Get upset or confused because they haven't even done the research to even know simple sentences to get you by in day-to-day life.
Or that don't speak, people aren't speaking English to them.
So exactly.
Like, well,
you're in their fucking country.
You're in Brazil. Like, what do you fucking
expect?
I'm
like, what do you expect?
I remember one time, a friend of mine were on a trip, and there were American tourists who were legitimately pissed and giving that kind of entitled attitude because no one could direct them to an ATM that dispensed United States currency.
What?
Sir, you are in a foreign country. When you go to the ATM, it dispenses
whatever the denomination is in that country.
Just because you can't figure out the exchange rate doesn't mean the ATM is suddenly going to spit out dollar bills or whatever. Like, genuinely upset. Like, genuinely upset. In fact, to the point where...
I'm not shocked, but I'm shocked.
This friend of mine, speaking of Canada, this friend and I used to, when we would travel out of the United States, we would pin a Canadian maple leaf to our backpacks and just tell everyone we're from Canada.
There you go. Hey.
Because we didn't want...
any discourse, like...
no. We didn't want any... And this was before, the current and previous regime were even in place. Like, this was... back in the day, and we were just like, let's not tell people we're from America. I mean, Canada's in the Americas, so we weren't totally lying, but yeah, no. And people treated us very different than they did the American tourists because we were from Canada.
Yeah, as they fucking should. Because we're a bunch of fucking idiots, as told by today with the fucking inauguration. We're not going to get into that.
Yeah, I can't.
I didn't watch. I didn't want to watch. I watched clips. I laughed.
I don't know how much bandwidth I'm gonna have for the next 4 years.
Oh my god, there's already some. I went to go drop off a bag for my friend that works down the street at one of the bars, just of like clothes that like I was getting rid of or whatever, because he works with like an organization that like donates stuff, and the fires are still going. And it was a windy day today, so and there's this lady with a Trump hat on at the gay bar, and then she left shortly as I arrived, and when she left, everyone erupted talking shit about her. Cause it's like, girl, wrong place, wrong time, wrong bar. First of all, then she had her truck outside. Yeah, oh yeah, it was right on brand.
Of course.
Truck with 2 giant wheels or 2 giant tires in the back. Trump flags everywhere.
I think that shit's deliberate.
Oh, yes.
Completely deliberate.
Yes.
She knows exactly what she's doing, and she probably was trying to stir something up. And then the second that she started shit and someone were to, clap back, she probably would have pulled out her camera phone and
100%.
made some content about it, about how it's so hard to be.
And on MLK Day... girl, the black lesbians are out and about. You will get jumped. Like, by a drag queen, by some black studs, by a twink somewhere. Like, take that shit on down somewhere else, because
no.
A mess.
Well, speaking of the fires that are still happening.
Yes. They are largely contained, but...
yes.
They're so huge that number doesn't mean that, like...
no, the air is still very toxic, and all the devastation has already been done.
There's still ash going out in Santa Monica.
Yeah, and there's so much devastation that's been done to the residential areas and things like that. But there has been a call from numerous celebrities to cancel the Oscars because of the fires.
Oh, I didn't see that.
To which the Oscars said no. And here's why. Look, optically, I totally get where some of these people are coming from, and at a time where LA and California really needs help and all this stuff, to see some famous person in a $10,000 dress doesn't really send the right message. But what people aren't thinking about is the Oscars themselves, just for that event, hire over 1,000 people.
Yes.
For the
various things.
Oh my god, so many things. The ushers, the catering, the getting the people from one place to another.
These are actual jobs that people are losing.
Yes, right. And these are people who are not on Demi Moore's level, so they need the money.
Yes.
They need the check, and it would actually be...
And some of those people worked at these markets and these schools and these places that are around that no longer exist anymore because they were burned down, and they are scrambling trying to find something.
Yes, and they need their work. And when you think about everything that happens behind the scenes, all of the production people involved, the fucking flowers.
Literally. every single thing has a person that needs to be hired.
There are industries where this is the award season is essentially their Christmas time / Super Bowl / whatever, because this is where they make all their money, whether it's catering events or, like I said, providing like flowers.
Hell, the person in charge of typing out the fucking place cards and printing them out, like, these are all jobs being generated by these shows.
So many things, so many jobs. So the Oscars are not going to be canceled this year, no matter what anyone is saying. Despite perhaps some contrasting optics. But you also have to figure there are plenty of people on a celebrity level. Like, I know Jamie Lee Curtis lost her house in the Palisades.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
many people.
Yeah.
Just insane. Oh my God, I have some music news, though.
What?
One relating to the fire. Because of a weird swap of events. Heidi Montag.
Oh my God.
Has the #1 song and album in multiple parts of the world because her, I'm going to say husband of the year, Spencer Pratt. And it's hilarious because at the time, I never watched that show, The Hills, but I would see clips here and there and whatnot, you know. I knew he was a villain. I knew he was obnoxious at the time.
Yes.
But I can't blame anyone that is in their early 20s and being thrown millions of dollars.
People still don't get that The Hills and Laguna Beach were scripted and fake. Those were characters.
And everyone was playing a character. And he played his character well.
Yeah.
And who's going to not play a character well when you're in your early 20s and millions of dollars and opportunities are being thrown at you?
Mm-hmm.
Who fucking cares if the general public doesn't fucking like your ass? You got the paycheck. They've had their house. They just lost their house.
Right.
And that is part of the reason why this is happening is because he has been hilarious. Have you seen his TikToks?
Mm-hmm.
He called everyone out. He was like, I think it's funny because, you know, I get so much hate still to this day about being a rich celebrity and blah, 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 blah. He's all, but then my celebrity network says I'm like worth like $1,000. He's like, but you know, I lost my house and I don't have anything anymore. You know, so now I'm a rich celebrity, but then I was worth $1,000 last week before the fires happened. That's funny. He's like, we're not rich. We use our money, you know, to buy our house and raise our kids and get by. And now it's gone. He's like, so I'm making this TikTok right now. He's like, so I can, you know, I know I have like 3 million followers, but you know, I'll probably get like $10 off of this. So I got to make it a minute long. So I'm going to keep talking from the rubbish that is my house right now. But, you know, like the fans have been supporting my wife's album. So, you know, let's get like this going. And then it shot to #1. She threw together a video out of fucking nowhere for a 15-year-old song off a 15-year-old album.
And they basically did the anniversary re-release.
Yes.
Of the album.
They're releasing vinyls now.
Moving fast.
Yes.
And that is thinking on your feet.
Yes, they are releasing vinyls now because that's the new thing with the kids. I'm like,
you better get it because
I'm not mad at it.
I don't care what anyone says about either of them. First of all, in The Hills and Laguna Beach, yes, they were painted as the villains, but it was always Lauren.
Literally.
It was always her.
She was the Carrie Bradshaw of that fucking thing. Now everyone's realizing that she was the actual, like, asshole of the whole fucking cast, when she was revered as the hero the entire time.
And they are still ride or die. They're
still together. They have a beautiful family.
They sure do. Heidi's still looking like an Amazon. I don't care what people say about that shit either. Because now suddenly everyone's like, oh my god, look at Lindsay Lohan. She has such a complete glow.
Oh yes,
bitch.
It's. I mean, in a way, they're fucking ahead of their time. He knew how to be the reality.
And she also was just transparent and open about it.
Yes,
and she wasn't like, oh, I just started using collagen in my coffee.
No, she's like, I got 10 surgeries in one day.
Thank you.
I want to, and she said at the time, because old interviews are popping up now, I want to get this done all, while I'm in my early 20s. That way I'm not like, oh my God, I'm like 55 and I should have gotten this done earlier. So I did that. Maybe people are going to disagree with it. My favorite interview was with, I think her name is Julie Chang. And she was like, don't you feel guilty about, being famous just for being famous? She's like, well, no. She's like, I think that it's a blessing to get a check in any way, shape, or form. She's like, let me correct myself, not any way, shape, or form, but I'd rather get a check for being famous than hustling my ass off working at my parents' restaurant. And the, and the interviewer said, I think that, it shows dignity and putting hard work and then, working your way up. She's like, well, then that would be your path.
Thank you. Also,
and now we're in the world of everyone getting Botox and fillers,
right,
and influencers, and
and the way that was framed was like, oh, you're a bad person for wanting to be famous versus working at a restaurant. Says the person who's on TV doing an interview.
Exactly.
With you go work at a restaurant then.
Exactly.
And again, she was always just upfront and transparent.
And not only that,
she never made excuses or lied about shit.
And she wasn't like a Paris Hilton who was like already ushered into the Hollywood scene. Paris Hilton was famous for being famous.
True, because her family was already rich. Yes.
But Heidi was a normal ass fucking girl that was on a TV show that happened to work out for her being herself.
Yeah.
I see nothing wrong with that.
I really don't either, because the transformation of her was kind of this mousy sidekick who decided,
literally,
you know what? I'm the diva.
Yes.
It's me.
And never even had the diva attitude, which is funny. Like, she was just kind of there still.
Right. I mean, she had her...
I think people were mad because she had the audacity to step out of her role.
Right.
Which happens
she
a
had
lot.
Her transformation, and then she did her music, and I think people were...
And the album still bops.
To this day, I will defend Superficial.
Yes,
that
I'm sorry.
Album is...
Yes, they went broke spending $2 million on that album, but she got the best fucking producers.
It was worth it.
And
the songs are self-deprecating.
Yes,
they're
and
hilarious.
The songs are bops, and I'm happy that she's finally getting her shine now, 15 fucking years later.
It's about time. That
shows you it's never too late. Go for whatever the fuck you want to go for.
Thank you.
Unapologetically.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if it doesn't hit off now, it might hit up 15 years later when people have come to their senses and the world has changed a little bit. And people will get on board. Oh, God. But another music thing real quick is I have a favorite new account.
What?
It's on Instagram, which I'm never really on. But her name is Liz Casmel, I believe. I want to get that correct. Because she's a whole vibe and an actual resource, which you don't really find. Anyone who is in anything wants to charge for something or has some kind of a scheme, or follow my course and learn how to do this.
Oh my God, if I see one more video that's like, comment this in the comments, and it's always a
clickbait. So I can tell you how to do this, and then it's like, but for $800 a year, you can follow my course. Her name is Liz Camlet. So Liz and then Camlet is with a K. Like Hamlet with a K, basically. She is a music industry insider and manager. And she always leads with, I have a bunch of clients and they've total sold over like 500 million albums. She never divulges who she works with. Her husband is a musician as well.
Mm-hmm.
And she gives music industry tips for free on her Instagram. And she'll show you emails. So recently she had one. She said, so I have a client who is around 70 years old. He's a very huge entertainer, but he's been around for years.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, and just to let you guys know how crooked this label is and how crooked all record labels are, I'm going to show you and read you the email that we got sent. So they wanted this man to re-record his old hits, sounding as much like himself that he could have. Mind you, he was 25 when he recorded these, so it's impossible.
No, your voice changes over time.
Exactly. And they want him to pick a Christmas song of his liking.
Okay.
To record, to be placed on this. and they were going to give him a $100,000 check for it. Sounds good in theory. Oh, no. They wanted him to front the recording, front the engineering, front the mastering of the records. Also, after that happened, they would own the masters of these re-recordings and also get 15% off of this. So she's like, after my client would have done all this, he would have gotten 50 grand. Take away taxes, my fee, he would have gotten about $23,000. It would have taken him 7 to 8 months to even do this. And then he doesn't even get a residual because it said it could be used in TV shows, movies, commercials.
Girl.
Yes, and this is for a very famous A-list older artist. She's like, this is what comes across my desk all the time. She will show screenshots. She's amazing.
I love it. People will always try to lowball you.
Yes.
In fact, there was another, I can't remember his name. I just came across it on, might have been Instagram or TikTok or who fucking knows. But there's an independent artist who does his own music and videos, and he definitely has a really good following. And some of his music I really like. Some of it I think is like, it's hit or miss with me, you know, but it's that kind of pop sound. And one of his biggest reels that's blowing up is a song where he said, this is the song that, I think it was Dua Lipa, who I actually like, but it was her team.
Yeah.
You know, I imagine she had nothing to do with this, but her team and the record executive said, we'll pay you, again, $100,000, that seems to be the magical number.
Yep.
We'll pay you flat fee for this song, no writing credits, no residuals. For that again, it may or may not have been Dua Lipa, but I think that's who it was. Yeah. For that caliber of art, what?
Yes, these people are getting.
We'll give you one check one time, and then take your name off of this and give you nothing forever.
Yes.
No, and he said no.
Mm-hmm.
And that's become one of his biggest reels because people are like, you're absolutely right. That makes no sense whatsoever, because if that becomes a hit, and it's a cute little song, when that becomes a hit, what if it's used in a fucking commercial?
Yeah.
That could be $1 million just for that one commercial. You should be seeing a part of that. That is your artwork and your music. And then, of course, you have the very dumb people who don't understand contract laws and how residuals work. Where they're like, well, you just gave up a paycheck.
Yes.
Oh, well,
everyone thinks that a number is something. Everyone thinks, oh, so-and-so signed a 500, or would sign like a $50 million contract. Okay, well, there are stipulations in that. That is what you could make.
Yeah.
You're getting a check off the bat that's significantly smaller. You have to complete a certain amount of projects and then hope that they get to this level to get another bonus or whatever. You're tied into these projects. Someone's $100 million project is not a $100 million check.
No, and the same thing even for if you write a book. Oh, you got the advance. Oh, you're rich. Oh, you're rich. No, the advance is they're paying you in advance. So that means if your sales don't match up to the advance, you don't get that. You owe that. You don't get anything else, and you owe them the money back. Girl.
Yes. I will say that she also puts up some good things, though, because she did just share this the other day that there's an artist that, and again, she never divulges who they are.
Mm-hmm.
But she says, I got the email. I wanted to, show you guys. I know there's a lot of negative posts that I have, warning you guys about these people and these labels and how they operate. She's like, but I just got a client that has, a really good offer, She's like, he owns his publishing, which is great, which you all should do. She's like, they're offering him $250,000 off the bat for this movie deal, for a very large movie to use this song in the movie.
Okay.
She's like, also, they are offering him an additional, $250K, for, and I think it's like under a minute of the song. They're offering,
for the trailer.
Yeah. It could be for a trailer, for, it could be in the movie, who knows?
Yeah.
She's like, they're also offering another $250K, off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
So you have that plus the publishing. She's like, so that's $500,000. And they said that they're not going to own anything after that. they want to just do that, they'll take a modest 10% off of anything residual that happens.
Because, yeah, they'll be on the soundtrack.
Exactly. So. And that's that. And her cut will be like $55,000. So that's a good payday for her. She's like, so there are people that actually do have, but she's saying this is why it's important to have good management. Because some managers will shy away things that can make you a lot of money and will look at a figure and be like, oh, money. And then you're in a bad situation.
Rope you into some deal where suddenly your biggest hit, you don't own the rights to it anymore. And
yeah, so she is like a wealth of knowledge and a rare find on social media because she will literally, if you DM her, she will answer your question in a video or DM you with advice for free.
I don't think people really understand how the creative side of things work. They're so used to clocking in and clocking out, right? You get paid for your time that day at work. But if you did something that is going to be used forever,
literally,
the studio's making money. The record company's making money. Why aren't you making money?
Exactly. It's your voice, it's your likeness, it's your creativity, it's your writings. Yeah, so any music people, go follow her on Instagram. She's a wealth of knowledge. She has tons of videos. And she just calls it out as it is. Like 100,000%.
As it should be. That happens so often to models, actors, musicians, all sorts of people who...
And no one's sticking up for them because these managers are so greedy as well sometimes.
Yeah, they get their cut and they're done.
And then that's it. They're concerned about what they're going to get. They're not concerned about what's going to happen with the artist later on down the line.
And the longevity of the artist.
Because they're going to get their cut regardless. Because
they'll just find another person to represent and then make money off
Once
of them.
Once that check is cut, they're going to get their cut regardless.
Right.
Regardless of even if that person makes the sales or not. They don't owe that label anything or that book company anything.
Right.
They got their $50,000, whatever. So it's nice to have some influencers out there that are actually giving sound advice with expertise.
I think that's so necessary because I think the one thing
and for free.
For free, yes. I think those are great resources to have. I think that's very important. Plus, I'm sure, she doesn't need to have people attend her workshop to be making her money, right? And maybe she does speeches and workshops and stuff like that, but she doesn't. That's not her scam.
No.
Right? It's not like, oh, well, I'll give you all the real details if you take my workshop. I think that and to kind of touch back all the way to the beginning of the show with the TikTok ban, there are so many people now who are realizing as all the influencers, even the bad ones, but the good ones too, what they're learning is you are your own mini industry yourself as an independent creator. Look at someone like Jules, the Very Demure, who she has had before she blew up, by the way, she already had 1 million followers on TikTok. Before she had her quote unquote 15 minutes, she already had 1 million followers on TikTok. But someone like that, when you think about how getting rid of their main platform would affect them and their business, their income, their ability to reach their audience, that is huge.
It is. I mean, I did laugh at a lot of people because a lot of these fucking creators are just pieces of shit anyways.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And I have a friend who's on TikTok and she's a TikTok creator. She has over 1 million followers, but she's an artist. And what she does, you've probably seen her. Her name is Ama. She will sketch things on her pad and she'll sing it to music, like to the lyrics. So it's like someone's singing or rapping about something. She's that, and then she'll swipe around, But she's my close friend, and we used to work together, and we're still close friends to this day.
Yeah.
And she made a video over a year ago because she's like, oh, I gotta go to work, and people were like, well, you're this big influencer, like, why don't you? And she said and made a video and she said, people keep asking me why I don't leave my day job. Let me tell you why. I make more money on TikTok than I do at my day-to-day job. I will not leave my day-to-day job because I have a 401k. I have a severance. I can file for unemployment. TikTok is not forever. Yeah. My following is not forever.
No.
I can get my account banned for something that I post, and then that's gone. So she's like, you influencers need to realize and stop being so braggadocious about everything, that this is not infinite. Like,
it's like people that get a windfall or win the lottery and like
yes,
tell their job to fuck off and do all this
yes.
crazy shit, and then they
She's like, I
blow
will
through their lottery
exactly.
winnings.
She's like, I will not leave my day job because that's my stability, and even that's not stable because no one's job is promised tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm in a contract. I work a normal 9 to 5, but I know if they fire me, then I get unemployment.
Yeah.
I get my severance. I have my 401k. That if I need to cash out, I can cash it out. I have resources afforded to me by my 9 to 5 that TikTok will never ever give me. So this is great with me making more money than my day job, but I'm not going to quit that and rely on this because why would I? And this is a perfect example.
Why would you not have multiple revenue streams?
And this is a perfect example of what just happened this weekend of why everyone needs to be fucking smarter with their goddamn money. People are literally physically crying.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's like, no. No. Yes, it is a job because it's paying you something. It is not promised.
No, and I think that there are plenty of people who have...
And there's no backup plan with that.
No, and I think there are plenty of people who truly do... they're pure creators. They have absolutely... This has been a blessing for them, etc., etc., etc. But like even Jules was saying, like, this is my biggest platform. Yes, of course, I'm going to diversify, and I'm going to try. I don't think my success is just because of, or only that I couldn't repeat the success somewhere else. But you are essentially starting over. Your following has to migrate over to whatever new platform that you're using, and if they don't like YouTube or they don't watch YouTube, then you're not going to get them over there.
No.
So. Yeah, that always it's very nouveau riche.
Yes. And so hone your craft. Don't rest on your laurels.
No.
Like Kinta Brunson, Abbott Elementary. She started out on Vine. Vine is nowhere to be seen now. That's what she started out with, her skits on Vine. But you know what she did? She parlayed that and was already doing that, as plenty of other people have done, to go outside of that app. Stop relying on an app to be your sole source of income and your whole identity.
She is such an intelligent creator because, granted, I mean, obviously, like, moving on to much, bigger projects and writing and producing all that stuff, but I think everything that she has done has been an avenue to her next thing.
Yes. And she never rested on one thing. She was always looking at the next situation.
Yeah.
She could have been a Vine star.
Sure.
And she made money on Vine. They were monetized.
Oh, plenty of them were. And then when they were like, anyway, we're deleting Vine.
And everyone had a meltdown about that.
Yeah, only that went away forever.
Oh, yes, forever. But she was already doing her thing and honing her craft and sticking to what she needed to do to get to what she wanted to do, which was write comedy, which is what she's doing now. And now she's got a creator check, a producer check, and an actor's check. From that little girl on Vine talking about, he has money. In a 7-second clip.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope these influencers...
forever. It's not going to last forever. In fact, I don't know why this just reminded me of this, but so when I was... God, I think I was like a teenager. I used to subscribe to we used to have these things, you guys, that were called magazines. And they delivered them to your house, not through Amazon, but something called the post office. And one of the magazines that I subscribed to was Details Magazine.
Oh my God, I used to love Details.
Yes, which was close to a queer men's magazine that wasn't specifically LGBTQIA as possible.
Details and GQ. And then into my car magazine, but that was just me.
Hey, well, that's, plenty of people like cars.
And my Motor Trend and my Auto Week,
And Tom Hanks wrote an article for them once talking about his very first hit, which is this old show called Bosom Buddies, in which he and another actor portrayed these two frat guys who couldn't afford to live on campus or whatever, and I forget what the whole premise was, because I don't remember ever watching this show. But basically, their whole thing was they got into a sorority.
Yeah, they dressed in drag.
By dressing in drag. And,
I remember that show vividly.
Yes, pretending to be girl, which is hilarious at the time because they both look like Tootsie.
Yes.
So at the beginning of the show, this whole essay was like, the beginning of the show, you're a young actor, you're so excited that you have this hit.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is amazing, this is incredible. And then as time goes on, you're like, oh, this line isn't funny enough, and craft services didn't have my favorite thing today.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly you're bitter and complaining about the whole situation, and then you're canceled. And then you're out of a job. And fucking then what?
Yep.
And it really was this humbling moment for him to realize that the success that he had built up, and as exciting as it was, and they were on the cover of magazines, and they had this huge hit show, that went away. Nothing lasts forever.
Nope. Except for this show.
We're gonna go forever.
What was that voice?
I don't know.
That was great.
This is too funny. I have to.
Go on.
I have to
what
read
is
this
it?
shit out. Okay,
I have nothing else.
I've actually never used any of these shopping services or Instacart or like, oh, I don't have time to. There's a Trader Joe's 500 feet from me.
Literally,
so I have time.
Yeah.
And in fact, they know me by name. Like, I have my favorite ones. They're like, "Hey, Wes," and like, "Oh, okay, what's up today?" So like, I have time for it. But some people are not able to comfortably leave their home, of course, because of various things going on, or they don't have the time, or whatever. They use these services like Instacart, and someone goes shopping for them.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely valid and totally fine. I don't think that Instacart or anything like that means that you're lazy.
No.
Or that you're whatever. I mean, one, there are people who are disabled, y'all.
Yes.
And also, there are people who have fucking shit going on.
Yes.
They don't have time.
Or they don't have a car, or
right. They don't have a car. They don't
or hell, sometimes you're okay to be lazy. You're a nurse and you've worked fucking 7 days straight and 14 hours a day, or
you're on a shift where you're working, and by the time you're off work, the store
nothing's open. Exactly.
However, there is a divide in the Instacart shopper.
Oh, yes. Straight men?
Hierarchy. Thank you. Yeah, you know exactly where I'm going with this. Why? Look, I get them being Uber drivers and delivery people or whatever.
Yeah.
Why would you sign up for a job where your task is to be detail-oriented and to find specific items when most men don't even know where their clean shirt is?
Exactly.
And they have to ask their wife, where are my pants? Where are my shoes? Where are 2 socks that match?
Literally. What are our kids' birthdays? That's been proven time and time again.
So there's a creator on Instagram whose name is Chris Burns, who started doing a series about Instacart shoppers who are substituting the wildest fucking shit. Where it's like, oh, then I have strawberries. How about this mineral water with strawberry flavoring? And people in the comments then leave their true stories of Instacart shoppers who, for example, substituted a 5-pound bag of oats because they were, air quotes, out of oat milk. One time I had Instacart shopper replace my box of spaghetti with gummy worms.
What the fuck?
I had someone insisting there was no such thing as sparkling water in the entire Vons grocery store.
That's completely impossible.
Someone said they once ordered 2 apples and received a jug of applesauce.
Oh, God.
Another person was like, replied to that comment with like, when I asked for apples, it was replaced with a single red onion.
See, I replied to one of these posts just last week and I said, there should be a gay option, a gay man option.
Thank you.
Because we would probably get you a discount, extra shit, and invite you to the bar later on at night.
Right?
Like, that's just the reality of the situation.
Here's a picture of the soda aisle. They don't have Coca-Cola products, and they're standing in front of a bottle of fucking Coca-Cola. Is there no screening process whatsoever? Do they not give them one fake task list? Could their application be at least one trial run
I don't get it.
to a store?
I know with Uber Eats shopping that I accidentally stumbled upon without my consent because I did not realize that was even a thing now. And I hate shopping for food. I got what I thought was a delivery.
Mm-hmm.
It was at a CVS. And it was a shopper situation.
Yeah.
First and last time I disabled that function on my app.
Right, because you've been doing your side gig of driving.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so they just automatically so that's how they're getting the jobs.
Well, not with Instacart. Instacart is just that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Instacart is strictly just that. So I don't know what the fuck they're even thinking. I happen to stumble. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I go to the counter and I'm like, oh yeah, I have a pickup for Tom or whatever it is. I'm like, oh no. And they're like, can you show us? I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh yeah, you have to pick that out yourself. I'm like, God damn it. It was like all kinds of random ass nuts. But even then, I found the 5 goddamn items on there. And with Uber Eats, you have to scan the barcode so it actually matches up with what's in the system.
Okay, that's smart.
So I don't know why Instacart hasn't enabled that situation, but I found everything. It was fucking obnoxious.
Yeah.
I'm never going to do it again. I immediately clicked that fucking check off, not even knowing that it was even enabled for me.
I would immediately just be walking into the store like, hello, here's the list.
Like, I'm just like, what?
Can the employee just point me to everything?
Me and the catcher had a good laugh about it. Just a little, like, elderly lady or whatever. I was like, I'm so sorry for bothering you earlier. But I thought I was picking up a delivery.
Oh my God.
And it was a shopper situation. She's like, yeah, honey, I saw you on the camera just roaming around the store looking for stuff. Because it was like some specific...
No, and I get it. If you've never been there before, you don't know where it is.
Like,
yeah.
It's like, there's like tampons and then the fucking like box of nuts next to it. It's like, it's not fucking that organized.
It's like shaving needs and then seasonal items.
Yes, I'm just like, huh? What does it even mean?
Yeah.
But I still got all the fucking products correct. Why? Because it's my goddamn job to find what you ordered.
There's a picture.
Literally, a picture of what it is, what the label is. Yeah, I don't know why Instacart apparently doesn't have the scanners, because I had to scan every fucking barcode, and I was like, this is taking fucking forever, and I'm never doing this ever fucking again.
No, I think the best way to do that is to do it through the store.
Yes. Because that way, that's what I thought it was.
Right.
It would already sacked up for me. I pick it up, I scan the receipt. Maybe there's usually a QR code sometimes, and then I'm on my way.
That Ralph's employee knows where everything is.
Yes.
They can do that
stock
sweep
that
in
shit.
5 minutes. They know what's up. Yeah, someone's first time into the store, I get why it would take you a while, but I don't get why you would substitute, tampons
for fucking cotton balls.
Cotton balls.
Like why? Bitch. That makes no fucking sense.
Well, somewhere that you would definitely not want to be an Instacart shopper or just a regular shopper is Walgreens or any of these stores that are now locking up almost every single everyday item.
Oh my God. Okay, so I live in like a pretty affluent area. So nothing's really locked up at all besides alcohol. But Jesus Christ, I was by, I want to say like Eagle Rock area.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a Target to buy something. I think just like a bottle of water and like some snacks, like granola bars, something like that. Every fucking thing was behind a plastic case with a buzzer to get someone to it. And I mean everything. Underwear, socks,
yeah,
food. Anything that did not have to be refrigerated was locked up. There's a small rack of like, that's what it was. It was middle of summer, and I wanted to get a pair of shorts, like just gym shorts, just to run around with, because I was like out in jeans. I was like, it's fucking hot. I'm gonna fucking buy some shorts. I'm right here, might as well. Folded up clothes in a fucking plastic locker. Only thing there wasn't was a rack of like discounted t-shirts.
How are you even supposed to know if they have your size?
Exactly.
You call the employee over, who also, here's what's so fucked up about this. This is such a reactive situation because, especially in California, they just lowered the standards for petty theft, right? So now, yes, you can still, someone can get in trouble for shoplifting, but your store security can't like fucking tackle them in the parking lot anymore.
No.
So there's a whole different scenario of what's happening. So this was this whole reactive situation. How much money did it take to install all the cases and buzzers throughout every single one
fucking
of these
lotion,
locations?
deodorant, Q-tips, toothpicks. This is the weirdest fucking Target I've ever been in my entire life.
Well, now the CEO of Walgreens says their sales have gone down. And I quote, it turns out, and I quote, when you lock things up, you don't sell as many of them.
Well, yeah, I walked right out of that Target because I was like, I'm not about to buzz this poor employee making minimum wage.
Who's probably fighting for their life at the cash register.
Literally, there are like 3 fucking people working there. I'm like, one probably on the lunch break or something. Like,
they also reduced the number of store employees.
Yes. I'm like, I'm not doing all this for fucking some gym shorts. I'm gonna go to my neighborhood, go to Ross, walk in there, which I did.
Yeah.
In and out in 5 minutes, bought some gym shorts. That's it.
How is it that this man, who is probably making $25-30 million a year, I could have told you that for free.
Yep. Common sense is not so common.
Such as my last topic.
Ooh.
So it turns out, when the police seize property, including illicit drugs, they put them in their evidence rooms.
Yes.
But a lot of evidence is just stored there and then like kept forever. It's kind of like the end of the Raiders of the Lost Ark, where there's just an endless.
It's a vault.
Endless vault of things, and as it turns out, rats were getting into the storage areas and consuming
cocaine,
the drugs.
Yes.
And drug addicted rats.
I love this.
Were eating the narcotics that were seized and stored by the Houston police.
Oh my gosh.
Which is now required a change in how long the department is required to store the evidence. Plus, they are now looking for a way to systematically collect all of these old drugs and destroy them. Common sense.
Why do you even need to keep drugs that long anyways? Clothing, I get it. DNA.
Of course. Yeah.
Narcotics, throw this fucking shit out after fucking a couple of months.
Especially if they've already been prosecuted.
Yes, toss the shit out.
You have photographic evidence,
yes.
You have the log evidence, you have all these things. But I would just think, like, common sense would tell you, why destroy the drugs? Just throw a rave in the parking lot.
They'll be consumed, and you have more criminals. Then there you go.
Exactly. I mean, maybe it's entrapment, but you're
whatever.
It's, two birds with one stone. Oh, now we have to destroy all these drugs.
It's like, why have they been there since 1972, anyways?
Thank you. Like, how can
although 70s cocaine seemed like it was hitting, so you never know.
Does it expire? I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. Probably a ton of bags of fucking weed that have completely gone bad.
Or, speaking of weed busts, when they have done these huge weed busts in the past, and then they destroy the crop, they set it
on fire. Because that makes sense.
Everyone in the area gets a contact high.
Just, again, common sense is...
It's the world
not
that we
very
live
common.
In. No, it truly is the world that we live in. And it's not getting any better.
Especially as of today.
I'm not looking forward to the future of... At this point, Idiocracy is a documentary.
Yep.
I know that's been said many times before, but I truly encourage you to go back and watch that movie. What seemed like a spoof at the time is now real. All the way down to the Crocs.
We are really in a simulation right now. I don't get it. Just the Friday Montag, honestly.
Seriously.
She was ahead of the curve.
Truly. Although the one thing, and I guess we should end the show on a positive note, because I know a lot of people are feeling like we really are entering dark times. And we are. But what about this? When social consciousness reaches a level where it's not going to hit the people at the top. It's not going to hit the billionaires who are just trying to take all the money. But when social consciousness hits a certain level, more people have been exposed to how unjust and unfair the government is, healthcare agencies, all these different things, how ineffective our government is. When we here on the bottom rung of citizens all begin to have our minds opened to what a farce the whole system is, I do think that's when it starts to break down. In a good way. Like they used to do, look, we used to just behead someone and play soccer with their severed head, and that would be it. But now, like, I guess we don't do that anymore. So, nor am I advocating violence in any way. But I do think there is an opportunity for, because we are the masses.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of talk about fuck around and find out, and we're all really finding out right now. But when does that sort of hit the threshold where it flips and we're just no longer tolerating it?
Right.
Check back in 3 months. Because
that's when a revolution happens.
Exactly. And I do think that just like we were talking about with the influencer jobs and this and that and the other, look, whole societies have collapsed. In fact, our existence as the dominant species on the earth in comparison to the age of the earth itself, we are a sneeze. We are a blink. We are ourselves, just a small fraction of that. And everything that is can be changed, can go away, can be reversed. Everything. I don't know what that call to action is yet. I don't know exactly what the tipping point will be.
Like we said, we'll see you in March or April.
Thank you. All right, everybody, thanks for listening. Be sure to check out our sponsors and our show notes and save some money by using our coupon codes. Until next time,
goodbye.
Bye.